Agile, I would say, is a hot topic. It has been a hot topic for a few years actually, and at iPF Softwares, that's probably one of the most spoken about concepts because we literally live it at iPF Softwares. My name is Nelson Malekela. I'm strategy lead and Agile practitioner, a very passionate one. And just stay with me for a few minutes as I'm walking you through our experience using Agile and especially a Scrum framework at iPF Softwares. It has been years now, probably more than 6 years since we started practicing Agile through Scrum framework at iPF Softwares, and I would say it has been probably one of the success stories at iPF Softwares, and that's because it has helped us in probably a lot of ways tackling issues that existed before when we were executing digital solution products. One of the things I would say probably helps us a lot in executing Agile is being very biblical. I would say being very consistent in embracing the events. And I'm talking about Scrum events. So now I'll totally move away focus from Agile itself as a methodology. I will be more specific in a Scrum framework, which is one of the most popular Agile framework, and it's a framework we're using at iPF Softwares. Now, Scrum framework has a number of events, 4 that are official, and you can't miss any one of them. They literally say if you miss any of those events, it's literally you're not doing Scrum, you're not executing a project using Scrum. So those events include a sprint planning, sprint review, retrospective session, and daily stand-ups. Now I'll tell you exactly how we've been using them and how missing any of them is detrimental to the project itself and the product. If you're talking about sprint planning, this is a session where we literally plan to what are we doing in the next couple of weeks. What is it that we are looking forward to achieve? In that session, we speak a lot with the product owner or the clients traditionally, and how exactly, and together with the engineering team at iPF Softwares, we collaborate and discuss on how we are going to actually achieve our 2 weeks targets. And that's very helpful because if you think of it, when we work in silos, project team, execution team, engineering team, and a client, normally we have a lot of going to and fro, because we think this means this, and clients think this means that. And normally when you do the work, you get getting back to the drawing board, and it's like, no, this is what we're. So this sprint planning is one of the events that are key in terms of making sure that we align before start executing the work. Once that alignment is achieved, the work starts with the engineering team, and during that period, we do what we call daily stand-ups, just a 15 minutes time-boxed event. And in that event, what we do is very simple. It's just saying, we have a goal. What are we doing today? What have we done yesterday? Or what did we achieve yesterday towards that goal? What are we doing today towards that goal? And what is an issue, if any, so that we can resolve it together at this moment. So that one allows everybody in the engineering team to actually report what they've done in terms of the progress, success. And then if they've had any issues, that issue can be issues around their work, issues around devices, or any other issues that probably have affected them or might affect them in the future. So it's an event where you solve issues, but also you get status of what's going on. You can actually predict if you're going to finish the goal as planned or not. And then this will go on for a couple of weeks. And once those events are done, it means we progressively understand the status of the project. 2 weeks comes and we sit with the client again and say, look, we promised we will do this, and here's what we have. In that event, we review, it's called sprint review. We review every single work performed, and actually how does it, we communicate the value that is being added through the period of 2 weeks. And once that is done, we do something called retrospective. So retrospective is a session where a client and the engineering team sit together and see what can we do better for the next couple of weeks. So you might have achieved a lot, but I think there are always issues probably, or areas that you need to improve. So what we normally do is sit down and see, what have you done so well? We're not just talking about issues here, it's about what have you done well, what have we not done so well, and what can we improve. So this is a very healthy way of making, of letting everybody in the same room and air their opinion. Because when you're executing a long-term project, normally there is a when pressure grows, especially, I would say, normally there might be a point where everybody's feeling frustrated, everybody's feeling a little bit of pressure, and they're starting to take it out. So before it reaches that place, that stage, we normally make sure that we communicate early in terms of if there are any issues, and that normally you see the project executed smoothly, even if it's a long-term project. So you can have a 6-month project, but we minimize those frictions. If you actually remove that session, for example, for retrospective, you'll understand exactly how important it is. Well, we've tried it. We've tried it in some projects, and I could tell you that it didn't go so well. Because at the end of the day, we take it for granted simply because you understand, you take it probably as a business as usual sometimes, and then you come to realize that the effect of it not being there, it gives you a wake-up call, I would say, and it's not good at all. So that's why we try to stick to those events so well. And that, I would say, the key attribute in executing successfully agile projects. I would say another thing though is about ownership. So agile is a methodology, Scrum is a framework, but internally as a business, as an organization, how do you take ownership of the project or the product itself? How do you make it yours, right? It's something that gives us a lot of edge, I would say, because at the end of the day, you can use every framework, every methodology of doing a project, of executing a project, but it might not be successful simply because the team does not feel it. So we make sure that we have the feel, we make sure that everybody owns the project, everybody understands exactly what we are doing in the project, everybody can give suggestion, everybody can see and actually feel that this is our product, instead of feeling that there is a team of our client, there is our side and their side. We definitely make sure that we remove that barriers as soon as we receive the project, and try to always and constantly educate the team in terms of internal engineering team and the external, I would say, a client team, so that we understand the importance of having one team in the same bubble instead of working in silos. And also it's very important with the fact that the education in this is very interesting. When we're talking Agile and Scrum, we're saying that it's very easy to understand, but notoriously difficult to master. Now, why is it easy to understand? Why is it difficult to master? Agile itself is developed around 12 principles, right? It has principles. And Scrum Framework has those events, which you could say they are principles also. Now, the easy part of Agile or Scrum Framework is the fact that you can literally understand them in a day, understand how to do it perfectly in a day. But the hard part is that if you don't practice any one of them, then the effect, the negative effect is crazy. So it's like you can understand it so well, easily, quickly, but if you miss one event, for example, in Scrum, then you're not doing Scrum effectively, because it's going to probably affect you in the entire project. So I think one of the reasons also we execute Agile projects successfully is the fact that we really stay very consistent, and we don't take it at easy. We don't allow business as usual. We've done those mistakes before, but I think it's long gone now. We make sure that we don't have a room for business as usual. So we constantly refresh teams' mind in different ways, in very creative ways, to make sure that we stay on the road, on track. So thank you for your time, and I hope you have got some education. Thank you.